Hello everyone, welcome back to SQL Edge, your one-stop channel to learn SQL Server practically and easily. In the previous video, we have started the SQL Server system functions. In that, we have made a three-part video series on SQL Server string function. In this today's video, we are going to start or we will begin our journey into a SQL Server date functions. So date functions are again a system functions we are having that we will start today, and this is the part one of SQL Server date functions. We need to understand what is the date functions. So date functions are used to handle the date and time values. We know the date is one of the data type, right? So while creating a table, you might have been seen like we will be defining the data type of a column like varchar and varchar, integer, big integer, or a date type as well, date or date type. So date is a data type we are having that we set on a particular column, right? So date functions are used to handle the date and time values. So if any column is having date and time, the date and time data type, we can handle the data using a date functions, whether it's showing today's date, extracting year or month, or formatting the date into a different formats. For the multiple reports, we can use the date functions easily. So let's jump to the different types of date functions and we will see how many date functions we are having in SQL Server, what is the use and all, right? So I have a sample or I have a list of functions here that are date functions, and we will just walk through it once. Current timestamp, it is used to return the current date and time. Date add is used to add a time and date interval to a date and then returns the date. So similar to this, we'll be having a like a plenty of SQL Server date functions options available to use to modify or to extract or to insert the data into the tables as well. This can be used for various reporting purposes and all, right? So we'll be jumping to today's demo. We already created one table called mdata during our system string functions. We'll be utilizing the same table to see the different types of date functions and the syntax of the date functions in our today's first video, right? So we have this table and let me see, it is saying invalid object. So yeah, we have created this table under the student database. So we need to select the student database and then we can see the data. So we have this students table containing the we have this employee table containing the employee detail information including the hire date and birth date column. So in this table we have the two columns which is having a date data type, okay, date or date data type. So let's utilize those two columns to see the demo on the date functions in the today's video. As we can see, we have the employee names, hire dates, birth date, salary and other information. Okay, now let's start to explore today's demo. We will be going to see some generic functions today, right? Most commonly used functions, and then in the next part of this date functions video, we will see some advanced date functions as well. So very first two functions we are going to see, get date and system date time. We can see all the system functions will appear in a pink color. So whenever the keyword, the SQL keyword is showing in a pink, that you should understand this is a system function or system variable, we can say, right? So what is this get date and system date time? So we can go back to our table in the notes and we can see the two functions here as well we have listed. The one is a get date. So this get date returns the current database system date and time. So whenever you want to see the current date and time, we use the get date function. Let's see what is the syntax. To see the get date, we have to write select query, select and get date, right? So get date is a function, and after the get date we need to mention open bracket, close bracket. Let's select this and execute, and we could see this is showing the current system database date and time. This date and time will be similar to what is the date I'm having currently on my system out here, 16/12/10/25/2021. The same time it is showing here. You could see here we don't have the column, so we can have the as keyword to give the alias name to the result set. So select get date as current date time. So this will show you the current date and time, right? So the get date function will return the current system date and time. This is the most common used function most common used date function in a SQL Server. Right, it gives you the current date along with the timestamp. If you see here, the timestamp is up to hours, minutes, seconds, and milliseconds. Right, so it will show you the time up to the milliseconds accuracy. Right, if you want to see the more accurate data up to the microseconds or nanoseconds, right, we can use another function called system date time, SYSDATETIME. So SYSDATETIME is the function which will give you the higher precision, okay, and more fractional seconds. So we can use the SYSDATETIME to get that. Let's see, select system date time as higher precision date time. This is the alias name we are giving. Let's execute this query and you will see here we'll be getting the date with like more precise value into the seconds. Right, let's run this together and we could understand the difference easily. Select get date and here we can use select sys date time, right, and let's run this together and copy the both the result sets and we could compare those easily. Now you could see here it is showing the accuracy up to 603 milliseconds and here it is showing up to the like nanoseconds accuracy, right? So more precision we will get on the sys date time, right? Sys date time provides more accuracy, typically up to the 7 decimal places in the seconds value, right? Then these are the two useful functions we'll be having. Let's say in this employees table you want to see the data or you want to see how many days has been completed, or like if there is any employee which has been joined in the today's date, we can use the this get date function in the web clause as well. So select star from employee data where we know there is a field called hire date, right? Hire date is equal to today's date, right? So if there is an employee that is hired in the today's date, we will get those results. So the system functions we can use in the where clause, in the insert subdate queries, or in the select statements as well. Right, so similar to the get date and sys date time, we have two more functions to get the system date and time, current date and time in a SQL Server. Those are current timestamp and get UTC date. Right, so let's explore one by one. The current timestamp is another function which is used to get the current timestamp. It is very similar to the get date function, right? And we can use the current timestamp. This is the syntax. We don't have to be the brackets here after the function name, and it will give you the current date and time. If you see the result of get date and current timestamp, it is almost, or we can say it is a similar result we will get. So current timestamp is an alternative, right, which is in American standard, which is equivalent to the get date, right? So current timestamp and get date both will give you the current system date and time. If you see the result set, it is showing the same value in our output, right? So we can use both functions to get the current date and time. What if you want to get the UTC? What is mean by UTC, that you need to understand first. So UTC is the universal coordinated time. If you remember, or if you know, every time zone, there will be a different time zones around the world we are having, right? In India we use the our Indian time zone, like called IST, Indian time standard, right? Indian standard time. So every time zone will be compared with some master, or we can say the universal reference, and that universal reference time is a UTC, universal coordinated time, right? If you see, our Indian time is plus 5.30 hours forward than the UTC. Okay, what does it mean? If in at UTC time zone there is a time called there is a time of 12 a.m. in the midnight, in India the same time will be like 5 hours 30 minutes in the early morning. So we will be we are having 5.30 hours ahead of the UTC time, right? So if you want to see the current UTC time, okay, now we are running this query in India, so UTC time will be 5 hours and 30 minutes behind the current date and time. So currently it is 8:26, almost 8 hour and 30 minutes. So 5 hours and 30 minutes prior, which means like 8, and then we will be having 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. So almost 3 will be the time we will be getting on the today's date. Okay, we can see it is 14:57. 14 is nothing but 2 and 57 minutes. That means almost 3 o'clock. So UTC time is like something will be calling this as a universal coordinated time. So if you have to get that, we can use the get UTC date function. Right. When it is used, this will be useful when your application or your servers are like having the users across different time zones, and if you want to see the different time zones of all the users, we can use the get UTC date. Okay, then the next set of functions we have is a year, month and day. So these are also date functions we are having. Let's go to the our mastercard or master chart here, and we can see month, year and day. So these are the three functions. Day will return the current day of the month, or we can say current day of the specified date, right? Month will returns the month part of the specified date, and year will give the year part of the specified date, right? So we can get the any part of the date using these three functions. Okay, let's say you want to break it down this, like let's say today's date we are having, I will just mention this in the YYMMDD format. We have this 2025, month is like October and day is 16. Okay, so if you get this date, we will just get the same result set. Okay, if you want to see what is the day of the this date, okay, so in this date we know day is like 16, so we will get 16 in the result. So day is used to get the day part of a provided date. So this is the standard syntax we'll be having, day, and we need to provide the date here, right? We will get the day part of the date. Same way, if you want to see the month part, we use the month function, month, and we have to provide the date value. Okay, we can provide the date value here. Okay, this is the date value and I want the month. So month function will get you the month part of the given date, right? So 10 is the month we will be having. Okay, now same way, if you want to see the year part of the date, we can use the year function, and year in the bracket we have to give the date value. It will give you the year part of the provided date, right? So this year, date and month, these three functions are used to get the individual component values from the supplied date. Okay, let's say we have this higher date, we have to see what is the higher year, higher month and higher day. We can use this in a table level as well. So this is the higher date. Okay, this is the actual overall date we are having from this. If you want to see the year part, month part and day part, we can use this year, month and day function, right? So this will help you to analyze the employees by higher year or month, or even we can filter based on the higher day as well, right? So let's consider if you want to see all the employees within a who has been hired within October month. Okay, so what we can do, we can simply use the query select star from mdata. We have this table called mdata, and what we want to see where hire date is equal to October, right? But we cannot directly compare the date because hire date is a complete date. We cannot compare the hire date directly to the October or 10 here, right? So what we need to do, I want to see month part of the hire date is equal to 10. So whenever the month part of the hire days is equal to hire date is equal to 10, which is meant by October, I want to see all the employees. So we can see there are 2 employees who has been hired in a October month, no matter what is the year, right? So let's say you want to see the year part as well, and I want only the employees who has been hired in the October 2020, or we can say 2018. Okay, so I want to see only the employees where the year is equal to 2018 and month is equal to 10. So we can use both of the conditions and we will get there is only one result, which is this employee ID 8 who has been hired in 11th of October 2018. So we can use this in the where clause to filter the particular result set. right? So these are the some real-time example how we can use these functions in the where clause as well. Okay, then next part for the today's demo is two more functions. We have date part and date name. Let's see the functions first. Date part. Okay, this is the date part function. This returns a specified part of a date as an integer value, right? So this date part function will give you the specified part of a date in an integer format, and date name function returns a specified part of a date as a string, as a varchar format. Let's see the example. What we need to do here is we need to uh, use the date part function and date name functions both to see how it will give the different results, right? So let's say I want to see what is the, let's see the syntax first. So date part and date name both function will take the interval value, okay, interval, and then here we'll be having the date value. Okay, now what is mean by interval? Interval is something that we can pass, like what part of the date you want from this date part function or date name function. Okay, so what type of interval can be there? It can be year, month, okay, month, day, or hours, or minutes, or seconds, or let's say, yeah, up to here, that should be fine. So these are the intervals. So we can get the specific interval from the date value. Okay, so the date part function will give you the number, and date name function will give you the name of the result. Okay, as in, let's say I want to see the name of the day today. Okay, so I can use the date name function. So interval, what I want the day. Okay, and what is the date value? I will give the get date, because get date, we know get date will return the system date or current date. So for today's date, I want to see what is the name of the day, right? So it will give me the result set. Okay, it is giving 16. What date name is giving? Let's see first. Date name function will return the actual name. Okay, but it is not returning the actual name using this day function of the today's date. What it is giving? It is giving the integer value only, 16. Okay, so how we can see that? We can use the weekday here. So this is also an interval. Okay, the day will give you the day number, but if you use the weekday, it will give you the day name of the week, Thursday. So today is the Thursday, and it is giving me the Thursday in the result set. But same if I use the date part function, what it will give? It will give me the day number, 5th. So Thursday is the 5th day in the week, right? So both run together. So date name function giving me the value in a wordings, and date part function is giving me the value in the, what it is giving? It is giving in the numbers, that is an integer, right? So instead of like weekday, if I use the month function, okay, I want the month from the date name and date part. You can see the date name function is giving me the result in the wordings, that is in the string format, and date part function will give me the result in a numeric or integer format. So these two functions, date name and date part, are used to get the specific part of the date. Okay, extract the specific part of the date, but there are some difference. Date part will give you the result in a number. Date name will give you the result in a string format, right? Then last function we have is a format. So what is the format? So format function we use to display the result in a different formats, right? Let's see, when I select the data from the employees table, okay, select star from employees table, how I will see the result for the date columns, hire date and birth date. You could see the by default format is YYMMDD, hours, minutes, seconds, if it is having a date time data type. But if it is only a date like birth date, you could see it is YYMMDD, right? But we can use the format function to display the date in a customize the formats as well. Okay, so let's say I want to see the hire date in date, month and year format, not just YYMMDD. So I can use format, the which date you want to format, that column we can mention, and then we can mention the format we need to use for the date, right? Then format we use for the birth date as well. I want like dd mm dd yy like this, so we can use any format to display the given result sheet, right? So if you see here, this is giving me the result in a format called dd mm yy. So if you see, it is giving me the three characters of the month, YY is giving year, and then the birth date I have formatted into the day. So day, when we use 4DD, it will give you the day name. Okay, then if you get, it will give you the entire the month name as well as the date. When we use 2 times, it will give the date in the integer format, and then YY we have the year. So we can use the format function to format the date in a specified format as well, right? So these are the some functions that we have seen in a part 1 of this date functions video, right? So let's see some real-time example. I want to see like what are all the employees has been hired in the current year. So I can use the hire date columns year part, right? So year of the hire date is equal to the year of the get date. What is get date? So get date is giving me the today's date. So I want to see the employees hired in the current year. So whatever the today's year is there, that will be the current year, right? So I can extract the year part from the today's date, and that I can compare with the year part of the hire date. This query will give me the employees hired in the current month, or sorry, current year, but we don't see there are no employees that has been hired in the current year, right? If you want to see some different year, we can use that as well. Let's say I want to see the employees hired in the 2018. I can see that I will be having the list of employees that has been hired in the 2018, right? So we can use these date functions to manipulate your data using the SQL queries. With a proper syntax, these date functions will be very useful to manipulate the data which is having the date and time data type, right? So that's all for the today's video. Just to summarize, in this video we have learned get date and system date time functions, which are used to get the current date and time, then current timestamp function and get UTC date function for standard and the UTC times. Then we have seen year, month and day function, which are used to extract the date parts from the given date. And we have seen next we have seen date part and date name functions to get the numeric and the name based partition of the provided input date. The format function was used to customize the data, okay, that to be displayed on your result set, right? So that's all we were having for this video. In the next video session, or the part 2 of these date functions, we will cover some more SQL functions that are used for manipulating the data from previous, past and the future dates as well. We can compare. So we will continue with this next part 2, with the arithmetic calculations and the date functions used for that, like date add, date difference and end of month, and converting dates to a different formats, right? So don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the SQL channel for more practical SQL content and learning SQL with the practical examples and live demos. See you in the next video. Thank you all. Bye bye.